Today I'm going to provide a checklist that will help you with the purchase of vacant land. My name's Chuck Shaver. I'm a real estate agent here in Central Florida, and I speak on all things real estate. So you want to buy some vacant land, but where do you start? It's scary after all. Some realtors don't even understand this stuff. There are, however, some things that you must do every time. Keep in mind, I sell real estate here in Central Florida, and laws can vary significantly from state to state. Number 1. Consider zoning and use restrictions. Speak to the city and county governments to find out that you'll be able to do what you want to do with the land. Don't assume that just because the neighbors are doing something that you'll be able to do that. They might be violating all kinds of laws. If you're building a home, make sure that those municipalities will allow you to build the home that you want to build. If it's another use, perhaps a gun range, maybe a store, airsoft complex, something along those lines, make sure that you are allowed to do that. You can spend a lot of money, waste a lot of time trying to do something that the government will never allow you to do. 2. Determine how the property is accessed and if there's legal access to the property. First, how? Is it a public easement, whereas anyone can legally access that property, or is it a prescriptive easement, whereas only the owner can legally access that property? Be very careful of the prescriptive easement, however. An attorney may need to be involved here. With a prescriptive easement, the owner may not actually own the land that access is provided by. Are the roads to the property dirt or are they paved? You might think it's not a big deal, but if they're dirt roads, who's going to maintain them? Do you have the equipment to care for them? Property can be sold without legal access. They're often called paper lots. The problem with these is that you might need a helicopter or to trespass across somebody else's land to get it. Typically, this type of land is very inexpensive to get, but you can buy it. Number 3, determine if the property is in a floodplain. Public records makes this pretty easy to find. What flood zone is the property in? Is it an X? Is it an A? Is it AE? If you're financing, your lender's going to require that it's not in A or AE. These flood zones don't necessarily mean that it will flood, but it could be something to pay attention to. For instance, pay attention to what type of trees are there. Is there a 300-year-old live oak? If there is, it's probably not flooding. We all know that they don't grow there. If the property is low, you may need other things like fill dirt or something like that, maybe an elevation certificate, to help you determine how low it is, because these factors can play a big role in the expenses of your insurance. Number 4, know your neighbors. A quick search from Google Maps overhead will show you exactly what was or is in the area. Public records will show you who those people are. It's good to know your neighbors. If your neighbor owns a waste management company or a public gun range, something along those lines, it can be a problem. Sometimes walking the neighborhood, getting to know your neighbors, knocking on the door, have a simple handshake. Hey, I'm thinking about buying this property. It can go a long ways, and it can also help you to learn what's really going on with that piece of land. Number 5, get a survey. Public records does show an approximation of where your property lines are, and most of us can figure them out by using power lines and other things like that, but do not skip the survey. It is a must. A survey shows the exact boundaries of a property. It also shows encroachments. Perhaps a neighbor has a shed on the property. Perhaps there's a fence line or something like that that just creeps over just a little bit. It also helps protect against title issues that could arise. What are title issues? They're legal claims against your property that somebody else could make on it. I once had a piece of property that I purchased and there was an error in a previous survey. It mattered. It saved me a ton of dough. Number 6, know the topography of the land. Topography is often known as a matter of public record. It's not too hard to find. You can pay for inexpensive maps and they can be more helpful as well. Pay attention to these maps. You're looking for things like creeks, modest hills, swampland, things like that. They can make a big difference in how valuable the land is for you. Number 7, utilities. You can't forget the utilities. Does the property have water? Does it have electric? These type things. If utilities are a long ways away, it can make a big difference in the true cost of your land. You'll want to check with the local utility company. A few phone calls and you'll have a good idea. They might be right next to the road or however that property is accessed, but they could be a long ways away as well. In today's world, internet is a big deal. Consider if there's high-speed internet or if it's satellite. Satellite internet is getting quite a bit better these days, but it is expensive and speed can be called into question sometimes. Consider soil types and the types of trees that are on the property. Soil types can vary significantly from a short geographical distance to another. Some are good for farming, some are not. It's pretty easy to have the soil tested. The local agricultural extension can have it done for very inexpensively, or you can consult some other kind of professional and they'll charge you a lot of money and tell you everything that's in that dirt. Find out if those trees on there can be harvested. There can be great value in them. The value might be today, or it might be 30 years down the road, but if you can obtain $100,000 or something like that from land that you paid very little for, it could be a great investment. Number 9, get a title search. Don't skip this step. It ensures that you legally and lawfully own the property that you think you do. It ensures that there's no one else that can make a claim to say that they own the property because some kind of crazy thing happened 30 years ago. Trust me, it happens. Number 10, consult a professional. Buying real estate is not like buying a pair of shoes. While you can return a pair of shoes and it doesn't cost you much, trying to resell a piece of vacant land that you just bought just now can be very expensive. Use a realtor that's familiar with the selling and purchasing of vacant land. It doesn't cost you any money whatsoever and it can save you a lot of money and help you sleep at night. If you have additional questions, feel free to comment below or simply reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to help you. Please take a minute and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.